Yeah, you can start now.
Okay, hi everyone. Today I'm going to do a hands-on demonstration of creating and configuring a front-end server and a back-end server and kind of integrating the two to create a functioning application for a client-server interaction, except this time it's using a self-managed load balancer to deploy an Nginx server, followed by a managed application load balancer on AWS to deploy the Nginx server. The core concepts we're just covering is we're incorporating a VPC, a subnet, route tables, and internet gateways. And where the first part is going to incorporate a self-managed load balancer, where I'll just be creating one server as a load balancer and then two separate distinct servers on two respective private subnets, and then I will use those IP addresses to interact and respond accordingly to ultimately display a functioning Nginx web page using AWS's VPC system. The second part will be a managed application load balancer. So AWS has its own integrated application load balancer, and I will use that to show how we can create two distinct servers on two distinct private subnets. Then we can implement a bash script in the user details on AWS so the application can manage it for us and install Nginx. And then ultimately we will create target groups for the load balancer, and we will use the given DNS address to access the functioning Nginx web page and see how AWS can manage it for us. So to get in short, at a glance, load balancing is just how we can distribute any traffic on a network across the resources that is supported by an application, which in our case is AWS. Modern applications like AWS has to process millions of users simultaneously. So in a real scenario, load balancing is a very necessary component to handle high volumes of traffic and to use its related resources carefully to facilitate all processes. In terms of AWS, the load balancing just directly controls the internet traffic between the application servers and visitors or clients. As a result, it improves an application's availability, scalability, security, and performance. First, I will show you a self-managed method, and then we will, which will ultimately give us, and then the managed one too, but both of them will ultimately show us how we can use a round robin method where the IP addresses can tell a client where to send requests, and just makes it easier to take in authority over the named servers and work on the IP addresses of different servers in a server farm turn by turn in a round robin fashion, which I will show you later. I kind of already explained this. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our hands-on portions, and I will ultimately walk you through the entire configuration and process and show you everything. First, we're going to go to AWS and create a VPC. I hope everyone can see my screen.
Yep.
Okay, great, perfect. I'm going to start with creating a VPC, which is going to be our virtual private cloud. I'm going to select this option so we can have more functions working on it. I'll just name my VPC Inshira. I'll add an extra A. And then we are going to use at least two availability zones. So I'll have two here, and we'll use two public subnets and also two private subnets, which is kind of the default, and that is what we need. For our NAT gateway, I'm going to use at least one availability zone, and this can stay as default. Everything else stays the same, and we go ahead and create our VPC. We're going to give it a few seconds to get ready. It shouldn't take too much time. In the meantime, I can get our EC2 instance ready, which will be our server. So right now we have no running servers. So I'm going to go ahead and create one. I will click launch instance. I will call our first one will be our load balancer. So this server will act as our load balancer. So I will call it load balancer. I'm going to use the Ubuntu system. Then I already have a created key pair and I'm just going to use the same one. We're going to work on our network settings. So I had just created look, our VPC is created. I'm just going to use this one that we just created and assign it to this server. This is because it's our load balancer, this is also public. So I'm going to use the created public subnet that was on the VPC and I'm going to enable it. We have our security group ready and we have this ready too. I'll go ahead and, okay, this works for now. So everything else should be default. We have our security ready and we're going to go ahead and launch this instance. While this launches, let me just go ahead and show you our VPC details because it's ready by now. Okay, this is the one we just created. This is the one we just created. So we have our VPC here with all the details. Let's check our subnets. Okay, the ones with like where I created with Inshira with 2 ways. We have a private, public, private and public. We can see the names for each. And we have our route tables. Let's check out the route tables. Okay, we have a public one. We should also have a private one. The VPC we had created with the Inshira public with the 2 A's. There's only a public one. We're going to go ahead and create a related private one as well because we will need it. So let me just create that route table. I'll just call it. I'm going to select this VPC that we just created and everything looks good. I'll just create that route table. Okay, looks good. So now on our VPC, we have both a private and public route table. So this looks good to go. So everything is ready, it seems. Now we're going to make another 2 more instances. We have our load balancer. We are now going to create a back end and a front end. So let me create an instance.
Hey, Inshira, quick question.
Yes.
Why did you create a new route table right now? Because you already pre-selected route table comes with, once you create a BPC, it should have created, right? Why did you decide to create additional one?
I will need both a public and a private. And although I did set route tables that should come with both public and private, I noticed only a public one showed up. But when I'm going to be doing the deployment, I will need a private one too for my private servers. So I just created that in case and I added it to our VPC.
Okay.
Yeah. I know this occurred like during when I was practicing.
Yeah, it created by itself.
Yeah, usually it creates by itself, but I didn't notice it. That was like assigned to the VPC. I just created, so just
Okay,
as
no,
a
it's a good
precautionary,
practice.
yeah, just as a in case I'll need it, I just have it.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna create, of course, thank you for asking. I'm gonna create a backend, and I'll just call it backend prive. It's the same components, Ubuntu. Then I'm going to have my pre-assigned key pair. I am just going to have this VPC that we just created with the 2 A's, and I will assign it. This is my backend, so it's private. I'll just assign this to private 2. This stays disabled because it's not public. Everything else looks good. These components look good. I'll go ahead and create this. While this creates, I will also, in the meantime, create the last one we will need, which will be our I'll just call it Nginx Priv. And it's the same one. This is going to be our front end. It's the same process, just creating, assigning to the VPC we just created. I'll just put this on, we already used private 2, so I'll put it on private 1. Again, this stays disabled. Our security groups look good. Before I get started, I'll just go over security groups again, just to be safe, but I'll launch this instance. Okay, now let's go ahead and view all of our instances. What we created is, let me check.
There, one easy way you can see, if you click ECD dashboard from your left, it'll show you only the running one shows, because running.
Okay,
and refresh,
perfect.
it'll keep popping up the new one in seconds.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Our Nginx, our front end and back end are still loading, but we can go ahead and get started with our load balancer. So I'm gonna take our public IP and I'm gonna go create an SSH session. I'm going to use the load balancer's IP address that I copied, and I'm going to assign it a username. Then I'm going to go to advanced settings and use my key pair that I already had. It's this one. Then I'm going to get started. Now, before I get started, I just want to make sure the security groups are all functioning and lets me allow it before I get started. So I'm just going to go here and let me just edit inbound. So first, only going to let me use it on SSH, so I can't use this on my MOBEX term, but I'm just going to go ahead and add this rule. So when I do try to access it from the internet, I have the permission ready to go. Okay, that's updated. So now I'm just going to make this bigger. I hope everyone can see. So now I'm on my load balancer, and I am going to go ahead and see what we have. Okay, nothing. I'm going to go ahead and create a folder, and I'm just going to call it load balancer. And I'm going to go ahead and update our system. So I'm going to use the command sudo apt update. And I'm going to follow that with installing Nginx. So I'm going to use sudo apt install Nginx and get that ready. I will give it authorization to download. Okay, it looks like it's ready. So let's go ahead and search this. I already have it, but let's go ahead and copy the load balancer IP address to see if the installation was successful. Yep, we have successfully installed it. Now we're going to go back to our terminal and we're going to sign into our backend. We can see that our we can see that our backend is now running. So we're going to use the backend. We're going to use this. And before we get started, let me just fix the security on here just in case. So when we do get started, everything's ready to go. I'm going to edit the inbound rules. Once again, it's ready to work on our SSH when we're going to start now, but I'm also going to open it up to all traffic. So when we do search it, we can just have it up and running. Okay, it's good to go. And I'm just going to clear the screen. And now let me just drag. I'm just gonna have this on deck. So we are ready to go. Now let's see what we have. We have both the load balancer and our file. Let me just give myself permission to access our new server that we're going to do. So file.pem, this is the name of my key pair. And I'm going to go ssh-i trial.pem, my username, which is Ubuntu, which I had set earlier, and then this was my backend servers. I'm going to copy this. Perfect. And now I'm going to run it. I will give it permission to access. Oh, I said I have to say yes. Okay. So now on our load balancer, we can access our backend server. And now that it's authenticated, let me just clear the screen. Let me just list what we have so far. Yep, we don't have anything. So we are going to update the system of this new server we just logged into, which is our backend. Oh. Is there a security problem? No, everything's working.
Is it your private subnet one or the public one?
Oh, never mind. It was just.
Oh, it's working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I acted too fast. Oh, did it fail or did it work? I don't know.
It failed.
Yeah, let me try again.
Inshira, okay, you try this one at the same time. Also, you can check your private EC2 instance, which route table actually you attached it is. Because when you do the VPC wizard, they actually create by itself route table and net gateway. So technically, you created a new private subnet. I don't not route table, private route table. I don't know. Did you attach to it?
Okay, let me check. Let me just go to the route table.
That might be.
This was my private.
Yeah, did you create this one or it was created by VPC wizard? So if it created by okay, you can check that it does it have associated with net gateway or not. If it net gateway, then it should be fine.
Okay, let me check. I created this one because even though I set it to
yes,
create a respective one.
No, that's absolutely you. I saw that when you were checking and you didn't see that one. The
Mhm.
reason was like when you use the VPC wizard, a net gateway, it takes little longer time. So that's why it sometimes it does not appear on the user interface. So
Okay.
that's the reason. Just if you give the time, it should be there. Like in route table has to become with that package.
Right, let me check. Because I see this Inshira with the two ways public, but I never saw I only saw the one I created. It didn't really appear. All of the other ones are older. I think I can do like the subnet associations and have it attached, right?
Absolutely, yeah. You should like you can check and then it should be
I
there.
think it's edit subnet association. Oh yeah, I can attach the private ones here.
Mhm.
Okay, good. I'll save these associations. Thank you. Good catch. That should actually help now.
We'll see.
Yeah, hopefully. Nope. Oh, I think I just need to start again. Okay, I'll just give it time and then I'll try again.
Yeah, and then also that route table also needs to be attached to it net router and then an internet gateway. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. But I kind of don't know how to attach the route tables to the.
But anyway, you use the BPC wizard one, you should have the default one. Like default means package which comes with a BPC wizard.
Yes, it even when I practiced earlier, it did. I don't know why this time it happened. I remember for Asif Bhai, the first time he tried it, it happened to him too, I think.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
never had this problem because it comes in that
Yeah,
three
the
things.
reason when you click so fast
Oh,
without opening a duplicate window,
uh-huh.
that's where it an issue which I had, and she's having the similar issue. I think my
Yeah.
recommend would be go to the EC on the security team. This IP address is on the public. First, go to the instance,
I should go to the instance.
the one you're having issue. Yeah,
Okay.
where's your instance in there?
Yeah, just a minute.
And this one probably the private subnet, correct?
Yeah, this
Okay,
is
so open that once it's come up. Yep, click on somewhere. Now, first thing, check the security. And so your security looks like open. That's good. Okay, so it is with the routing table issue. So now, if you instantly click on there, say what subnet it is located. So it is on subnet private, right? Is it too low
yes.
to be?
Yes, I just I created it and then I went to the subnet associations.
Yep. So
and then I
make sure.
added the private and public, both of them. Yeah, I added the private and the private ones for the
No,
private.
the private one, because it has to go through one of the public one because it passed through.
Oh,
So,
right. I'll just
yeah.
have I should have all of them. That makes sense, right? Let me try.
For right now, yeah, let's try that.
Because I am accessing it.
Asif,
Yeah,
just quick question. So private subnet has to be with one route table. Like if
correct.
we
Yes.
and then public subnet has like if it has a two public subnet, then you can go for a one route table. And if you have a two private subnet, you need to go for a two private route table.
Yeah, she only need one route table attached to the subnet.
Okay, one route table can do one public, one private at the same time, or it needs a two different private table. Not
Let
two
me
different, sorry, two different route table.
Let me open my BPC so I can see.
Let me open at the same time my other computer too.
Yeah. So it's you're not gonna be able to go. You have to go to AW BPC right now because you made some selection. So you have to go back to your BPC. Yep. And go to your route table. You have to subnet associations. Yep. And you edit. Yep. So you have to know your instant, which subnet is located. Is it 2B, 2A? So you have to unselect all, because you see you can just unselect. Now that instance is located on public or private, one of the private.
Yeah.
Right. So you
And yeah, sorry. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep, we can see. Just go to the EC instance, EC2 instance. We need to know that which subnet are you using under this private EC2 instances. So then we can uncheck and then we can check from there. So open the backend too. Okay, which subnet are you using? Yes, here we go. It's so small.
It's a private 2 east.
Yeah, okay, private 2
private
east.
2 east.
2B. Okay, go there again.
Yeah, 2B.
BPC, that BPC and subnet association. Then we will see that which one.
It was 2B private, right? Yes. I'll just save this one.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, let's try.
Okay, this died.
But still, it needs a net gateway associate. Does it net? I didn't see net gateway. Without net gateway, how?
Is it the one she created or it's automatic
No,
created?
she created.
The net gateway was given.
Yeah, net gateway was given. Just I want to see net gateway also associate with this subnet or not. Private subnet, because if it not associate, then it will not communicate anything.
Oh, should I check that from the private, from the route
So
table?
you come to the net gateway on the left bar, all the way down.
You have too many gateways, and so it's
No,
confusing.
these are old ones. This is the one I'm using, this name.
The first one. Okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah, go there, let's check.
It's like attached to the VPC.
You are in a internet gateway. I'm talking about net.
Oh,
gateway.
my bad. Okay, yeah. Oh, for the
Private
it's
subnet.
only private. There's no public.
There is no private.
Right.
No,
Has
you
to
only
be-
need one net gateway for each
Yeah.
BPC. So she has two. She has a 2 BPC there. That's why.
No,
Oh, I see.
I just have this one. This is an
Right.
old one. I'm
This is
sorry.
the with the different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, this is not working.
I don't know if Isha by there. I would just to start over the new BPC again, because it's gonna take a while to figure out.
Yeah, should I
That's
just
what I would do recommend, but it's up to you, because your problem with your routing table is not attached or associated with your
Right.
private subnet.
Okay, let me just try a new VPC.
Yeah, just leave those alone and just create.
Yeah.
I'll try with the VPC again.
Yeah, put a different name that.
Yeah, I called
that's
it new.
fine. Yep, that's good.
Everything's default to I'll have one.
Yep. And start.
Everything looks good.
So now leave it open until it's completely done. And
Yeah.
then you can duplicate another browser, open a new. That's
Mhm.
totally fine. It works. So you can create, I would say just wait.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait because
Yeah.
I notice when you wait, it's just better.
Yeah, just 1-2 minutes wait, because you are creating your own network, custom network, please. So let's create your billing first, and then you can do inside house.
Okay. Yep, now they're both, so that works. I'm just going to start new. Okay, now we can start. We have everything ready. I'm going to log into the load balancer while all the others get ready. I copied the public IP for the load balancer. And settings, we're going to use the private key. Okay, so that. Okay, now that this is here, we can clear. Let me create a directory and I'll just call it load balancer. It's there. Now we can do a system update. Sudo apt install nginx into the load balancer and authenticate it. Okay, let's check the IP address of the load balancer to see if that was successfully. Yep, that's the one I searched. Let me go ahead and see all the other instances if they're ready. Yep, they're good to go. Can't be reached. Oh, it's because we did not check the security, and then it should work. We're going to let it be accessed from anywhere for now, so it can appear in our search bars. There you go. There, it's working. Now we can try to get into our backend from here. So I'm going to use, first, let me just get the PEM. It's in our system. And I will also go ahead, before we get started, fix the security for our new backend. Okay, now let me just give it access so that I can use it. So I'm going to try using the chmod command, and then I'm going to use this to try and get into the server, and I'm going to use my username, which is Ubuntu, and then I'm going to do @ when the IP address of my backend. Which I'm going to copy this, paste it onto here, and search. I will say yes. Okay, now we've logged onto our backend in our load balancer. Now that we're here, we are going to clear. Let's list everything we have. Okay, yep, we're in here. I'm going to try and update the system using this command. As always, it's working. So now we know our route tables are functioning. Just going to give it some time to update. And now we are going to go ahead and install nginx onto here as well. So sudo apt install nginx. I'm going to authenticate it. Okay, looks good. Now I'm also going to try and create another terminal for our load balancer for remote login. So let me go back to our instances. We have our load balancer. I'm going to copy the public IP and create another session. So the load balancer IP address, same assigned name. I'm going to use my key pair again to authenticate. Get started. Okay. Now that we are in our load balancer IP, I'm going to use the curl command, which is the client URL command. But before that, I'm just going to check the, okay, I think yep. Just wanted to make sure that, okay, I'm going to use the curl. Then I'm going to use the IP address of our backend. I'm going to copy this and paste, and let's search. Now let me go back to our first terminal, and I'm just going to exit because we will work on our front-end server now. So let me just, this is what we have. I'm going to go to SSH. I call out my key pair. Then I'm going to use Ubuntu, my username at. Now I'm going to use the IP address of our other server, which is our front end, which is our Nginx. I'm going to copy this. I will paste. Okay. Temporary failure. Why is that?
The dash should be before I. SSH
Oh, my bad.
dash I.
Yeah, dash I. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's working. Okay, we are in. So let me clear. We are going to update the system in here too for our new server, which is our front end on the load balancer. Well, that updates, and then we're going to follow up with installing Nginx here again. Okay, we have installed Nginx. I'm just going to clear the screen. Now I'm going to use the same client URL command, and I'm going to use this new IP, which is the IP address of our new server, which is our Nginx server. Just wanted to confirm, and I'm going to, okay, now that we are in here, you can see everything. I will go to the CD var to access the Nginx file location. Location, HTML. Oops. Now that I'm in here, just going to ls. We have this. We are going to go to sudo vim. We're going to open up this file. Now that we are in here, we're going to name our server just so we can identify it. So over here, this is our front end. So on this H1 line, I will just go ahead and paste this name onto here, Nginxp. Okay, so this is in, and now I'm just going to save. So that's been saved. And I will, I guess, exit the server. And now I will try to, I don't want to clear screen yet, but I hope everyone can still see my screen. I'm going to try the SSH-I and call out my file, and I'm going to go back to my first one to do the same thing, my first server. So I'm going to use the same command. Let me go get my IP address for the backend, which is the backend P. Get the IP. And to paste it onto here. Okay, great. Now let me ls. Oh wait, I have to do cd var www html. Now I'm going to go to the same Nginx file location. Now I'm back in my first backend server. So I'm just doing the same thing I did for my front end for the backend. So I'm going to open this file to make that edit to name the server so it's easier to identify when we run it. Sudo vim, my bad. It's going to be the sudo vim. Okay, great. So I'm going to take this name and have it in this H1 line that it says over here. So when we do search it, the name appears accordingly. So I'm just going to paste this onto here and I'm going to save this. And I'm just going to exit. And now I'm back in my load balancer because I was in my servers. And now that I'm in my load balancer, I'm just going to see what I have. I am going to go to the cd etc nginx directory and let's see what I have here. I am going to call out the sites enabled. So I'm going to go to cd sites enabled. Let's see what's in here. And I need to go to the default. So I am just going to do sudo vim default. In here, I have to make some changes. So first off, I'm just going to delete all these hashtagged parts to just make this text shorter. And then we can form the code accordingly. So when we do search it up, it calls out as it needs to. Sorry, I have to like go line by line because when I try it with the keys, all of it doesn't delete at once for me. Okay, so all the parts with the hashtags because they're not needed. So it just kind of cleans up the code for us before we make our edit. Just a little bit more left. It won't take too long. Okay, so that's all of it. We're going to keep this last one. And we just have to build our upstream server. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm not going to number it. It'll just save us some time. I'll just go ahead and call it my I think it's set new, right? Okay, perfect. I will go ahead and label this as our upstream. Oops. Upstream web servers. And I'm going to start a curly bracket because I am going to name my servers here. So it's my upstream web servers, then space. First server, I'm going to get my instances. Let's say I'll start with my front end's IP address. So I will assign each server I have created. And then I will do the same for my backend. Okay. So I have these two ready, and then I have to use the semicolon. This looks good. Let me just give it space. And I will close that curly bracket. Then I have everything over here looks good, should remain intact. This can stay, this can stay. We don't need the server name. So I'll get rid of this. And we don't need the location. We need to set our proxy here instead. So I'm just gonna call it, we're gonna do a proxy pass here. So proxy underscore pass, then space, HTTP /, and we named it web servers. So I'm gonna call it web servers here. And then this colon looks good. Let's see if there, and then this closes our code. So I think it's right. I'm just gonna go ahead and save this. Now that this is saved, I'm just going to update our system. CTL, restart Nginx because of the changes we made. Oh, what happened?
Try with sudo before that.
Oh,
Control
my
C,
bad.
break it,
Yeah, my bad.
and just add sudo.
Sudo system CTL restart Nginx. Okay, now that everything should be good, we're going to go back to our load balancer IP address and search it up, and it should be working with the alternating.
Does not look good.
Yeah.
Check the security group.
Oh, no, it
Oh,
worked.
it's
Okay.
working. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, let's see if the other part works. It's just taking a while, I think.
Just a network Wi-Fi little slow.
Yeah. Okay, I will not interrupt it. Let's see if it loads. But this ultimately concludes my self-managed, and I'll quickly go over my managed, which is a lot easier because AW has its own built-in application load balancer, which is how a lot of corporations, companies manage load balancers for its clients and users. Okay, this is taking a long time. Okay, I think, but every time we'd refresh it, it'd alternate between the backend and the front end, because that is how we set it when we entered their servers for each and managed the titles. And so when we open the file locations, but I'll just go ahead and start with our AWS managed load balancers now. This is how we get started. I'll just get to the hands-on to save time. I will start with creating a new VPC just to stay consistent with this part. I'm going to create a VPC. I'll have everything ready. I'll just call it.
I think you can use the same VPC, just create new instance.
Yeah,
That's
I think
probably
that'll save time. You're
yeah.
right. So I'll create 2 new instances as my 2 servers. I'll just name them different things. Front 1. Then I'll have Ubuntu. Everything will look the same as we created all of them. Network settings, I will attach it to the new VPC that we created. And okay, it's remains this way. It's going to be public. So I'll just have it on public. I'll have this enabled. Then this time we are going to go to advanced details, and all the way in the user details, we will implement the shell script for Nginx. So we are going to do /bin bash sudo apt update sudo apt install -y nginx. Looks good. And I'm just going to launch this instance. While that loads, I'll also create another one for our other server. And I'll just call it back1 Ubuntu. Everything else is the same process, is the same as how we created our front one. Network settings, I'm gonna connect it to our new VPC. I will keep this public, so I'm just gonna assign it to public 1 because the previous one we assigned it to public 2. I will enable everything. Security looks good. Once again, for advanced details, we're gonna have this same shell script real quick. /bin bash sudo apt update sudo apt install y nginx. Okay, looks good. Launch instance. Okay. Yep, we have our front one. Very soon the back one will also start. Now for this one, we are going to go to our front one public IP and try to access this on our SSH. Assign it to advanced private key. And get started.
Inshira, just a quick questions about this one, because you already used the shell script, so
Right.
it should have Nginx by itself.
Yes, I
So
will
you
check.
can just go to the web browser and check it with their public IP, and you should see it. You can see
Yes,
from there.
yes, yeah.
You don't need to come in here for this. Okay, I know what's the go to security group.
Oh yeah, the security group. I didn't.
Let me give you a tip. Maybe I follow. Yeah, I'm not telling you that you need to follow this one. Whenever you create these instances or VPC or subnet, whatever security
Yeah.
group, let's do it from all traffic, because we haven't learned yet the other traffic yet, other
Right.
port things. So if you do, then it will come. You see? Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Looks good. I'm just gonna create and so I'll just skip the whole like.
Yeah,
SSH.
and also you can try the second one, so you can see the second one also working or not,
Yeah.
like in the back one. So then and then you just need to fix the target group and load balancer, and it should work.
Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna check the security group for that one too. Yep, both are working. So I can try and deploy the load balancer in the terminal, or I'll just use the Amazon.
Yeah, here is
load
you're doing
balancer.
the manage one. You're
Right.
on the Amazon. Yeah, go
Now
to the
to
target.
deploy,
You can do two ways to do this one. One is you can, okay, do it in your way, whatever you feel comfortable.
Okay, thank you. I'll just use the Amazon application load balancer, which is its own load balancing system. So first I will go create a target group. So I'll come under here. I will create target group. I will keep it on instances. Then I will name my target group. I'll just name it ALB 1 for now. I'll just call it 111. And then I will choose a VPC. Yep, I'll just have it on new. And then I will go ahead and create. Okay, next. And then I can select my servers. So I'll just do my new ones, which is back one and front one. Those two look good. Now I will include as pending below. Okay, and now I will go ahead and create the target group. And now that the target group is created, ALB111, I need to create a load balancer. So I'll go to load balancers. I will create a load balancer. we're doing the ALB. This is the architecture of it. So I'm just going to create this one. Over here, I'll give it a name. I'll call it my ALB. It's going to be internet facing, so these are default. I will have it on my new VPC. Okay, and I'm going to have it on both subnets. So I'm going to click on both, which will be representing my two zones and my security groups. They look fine. Now for my listeners and routers, this is where I select my target group. So my target group is this ALB111 that I just created. Everything looks good, so I'm now going to create my load balancer. View load balancer. I'm just going to see my security for this one before I get started. Okay, it's just the default. Should be fine. So now my DNS name here, if I use the DNS name that I get created for my load balancer, I should get my web page up and running. So let's see if that works. Can be.
It's still provisioning. Just give it time.
Oh, my bad.
Be patient. Be patient.
It's been a long day.
Yeah, just wait. I think once it is active, I think
Okay, but once it's up and running, what the load balancer does is, just in the previous one where I did my self-managed, I basically just did this entire thing manually. But what AWS does in just a few minutes, just manages the load balancers for us and has the pages running. So we're still provisioning. When it's active, we can try the DNS name and it should work. This is the
Did
one
you
that-
guys notice Amazon actually changed the interface in the load balance area?
Yes, I was noticing yesterday.
Yeah.
Like night. I said, what the heck? Am I in a wrong way?
I like the older way they had.
Oh,
Yep.
I agree. Okay, it's active. Let's try and see if it works.
Even though if it works, you still have to do something. Do you know what you missed or you have to do? Even though if it's the link work, there's still something you have to do.
Is it my security group, I feel, for my load balancer?
Click on the load balancer on AWS. Yeah.
Because I feel like
click actually the target group, see if the instances are healthy.
my instances for
Not from here.
the target group.
Yeah. And check. Click on the and good. Yeah, they're saying healthy.
I have a feeling the
Security group. Just go to the security group
Could
and
be.
change the default one.
Yeah, I think the default one is.
Because default one only SSH, I think, for VPC.
So I need to edit, and I have to add. I'm gonna just say this one, most likely, because it's the most up to date, I feel.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Yep, working. Right?
Your old one is working or is still back one? It's not like third. Yeah.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just says backend P.
Yeah, so front end is not appearing. So anyway, that's I think the reason.
I know what to do for that. I feel like when I opened the file location, I think I just somewhere in the naming part.
Okay, it might be that, or might be which I think that's the IP address you put the Nginx one. So like you can check it later. That's fine. That's the way it is. That's I
Yeah,
think
right.
everything
I
is.
know. I remember. I think I did. Something got lost in there. But
Yeah, that's okay.
thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
for
it was good.
sticking through,
Mhm.
everyone, for your time.
Oh, you did a
All
good.
right. Yep, you
I
did
learned.
great.
I learned from you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
I learned
You
too. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Good night.